The chaos is affecting my YouTube channel. My videos are post-structure, genre collapsing. That is why I have no structure to this video. If you're here for that, then that's what I'm doing. I am breaking the chains, and so I'm gonna be doing 2 videos. This is gonna be chill, guys. We're gonna do a chill reread of the Malazan Book of the Fallen. I said it right. Yeah, motherfucker. I don't even have to try anymore. Verisimilitude. I just am legitimately trying to say these words. Yeah, that's how I'm learning how to read. Where's talk? Nobody knows. A puppet threw our one-eyed hero into a chaos warren. Why do I have this jacket on? I did some research on the internet. If you start a MalazTube channel, you have to have a tweed jacket. Now, I don't know if this is fucking tweed. This might be the one I used in the last video. I don't know, I didn't watch it, because chaos has infiltrated everything in my life. Now, this time, reading through this book, I actually understood what was happening. There's this empire trying to take control of everything, going to these free cities on Genabacchus, got pale. They're going to Jaghut. The adjunct is part of that. The adjunct to the Empress, Lorne. But Animander Rake was the coolest name in the fucking world. Coolest sword, coolest everything, whatever. Animander Rake is a sad boy, and he has a giant moon fortress. And he's just like floating around in this moon fortress, and he's like looking at the Thai standee, and he's like, oh, my people have no purpose. So then he sees like a war going on down below, and he's like, well, why not get involved to give them something to fucking do, because they're just moping around here. They're gonna die because they're so sad because their mom left them. Okay, hold on a second, let's stop there. From what I understand, Mother Dark didn't actually leave the Thai standee. Mother Dark got bored, just like the Thai standee are bored and trying to get involved in a war because they're bored, because they're sad. Mother Dark was like, yeah, I love you guys, whatever. But also, like, I wanna, like, make light children too. And they're like, well, fuck you then, Mom. And I'm like, as a parent, I'm here to say that that is some bullshit. Animander Rake and the Thai standee are butthurt that their mom got them a stepdad. And they were like, we're not doing it. And then they floated off out of Corralled Glane into this world, which I don't know what this world's called. I got the jacket. I don't know what the world's called. People often ask me, why do you come so hard at Reddit? Why do you have such a hard on for Reddit? Well, I'm looking at you, r/Malazan Heartthrob, who is always trolling me on Reddit. Look him up. Look up r/Malazan Heartthrob. He's got a little Animander Rake Reddit dummy thingy, and every time I say something like, I think Malazan is cool, he's like, fuck you. You can look at my comments. Look at me. You know, I'm r/John Franz, I think. And every time I'm on there, he's just bullying me. Empire. Bored Thai standee. And the Thai standee and Caladan Brood team up with the Crimson Guard and various sell swords. And they're like, you're not fucking doing it. And Caladan Brood is a Rivi guy. But I think he's a Barghast. He's badass with a big ass hammer. And they're all teamed up, and they're like, no, fuck you, Malazan. Empire is bad, kind of. You know, they're like, as I said, Thai standee are just being dramatic. But they're actually like pushing back the Malazans. And so we have the Malazans at kind of an impasse here where they're like, okay, what do we do about this Thai standee god-based ascendant? And these powerful people who are trying to keep us from dominating Genabacchus. The Empress is like, I know, there's an atomic bomb just like sitting in the ground outside of Jaghut. So if you wake up the atomic bomb, then Animander Rake will have no choice but to fight against it. So hopefully he kills it, but hopefully also he's like got, you know, fucking radiation sickness and is fucked up. He's not actually a nuclear bomb, guys. This is a metaphor. Just because you tweet the tweed Jack, it doesn't mean you know what words to say. Very similar, verisimilitude. It's quite the verisimilitudinous suit. It's a verisimilitude. So, and we're gonna set off this bum. Meanwhile, we have the Jaghut boys, these guys who hang out at Kroll's Bar, the Phoenix Inn. I think those are the same place. If I get anything wrong, comment. I would love a comment. Please comment. I hope I make you angry, so you will comment. I don't want to make you angry. I'm just here to talk Malazan, man. I've been saying it right, I think. Sometimes I see videos of Steven Erickson saying it other ways now. And so I don't know what to do. Chaos has infected. Meanwhile, the Jaghut clan are hanging out in the bar and stuff, and like Murillo and Ralik Nam have some shit going on. And like, as I was rereading this, I was like, would you just fucking tell me what's happening? And this is the thing, guys. This is the thing. Like, I keep hearing I keep seeing on the page, Ralik Nam and Murillo have some shit going on, and Krupp knows about it, but you don't fucking know what it is. And then it's like, but it's gonna be answered. You're gonna understand it. By the end of the book, you're gonna get it. That's the thing. And it's gonna come together so beautifully that you'll shit your pants. I shit my pants. And I'm not gonna say whether or not that was because I was reading Gardens of the Moon and things came together, or because I was trying to do the keto diet to lose weight and had the keto shits. Could have been both. For the sake of this video and MalazTube, I'm gonna say that I shit my pants when I understood what Murillo and Ralik Nam were really up to, which is, Murillo is he is a, what's that movie with the guy from The Animal? What is it? Deuce Bigalow, Murillo, Gigolo, male. He's just like so damn sexy, Murillo is. And he's also like really good with a sword, I think. He's like great. Yeah, that's Murillo. Murillo is a good swordsman. And all the ladies dig it. Ralik Nam and Murillo's plan is for Murillo to get into Lady Simtal's pants. Lady Simtal is Cole's ex-wife. So like, you had Cole, right? In the book, he's just drunk, and we're like, we don't know why. He's always drunk. And so you're like, who cares about him? There are so many other characters here. Who cares about the drunk guy at the bar? He's just there to be the drunk guy, and he's got a past. But he is drinking, and he's all fucked up because he's an ex-noble who they've actually said, you're dead, according to the list, because he was supposed to marry someone else of like high rank or whatever, nobility, and he didn't. He went against his father's wishes and married a prostitute. This is Lady Simtal, who had a different name, but then she became Lady Simtal. Anyway, then she was like, fuck you, Cole. Now that I'm high up there because of you, I'm going to ascend. She doesn't literally ascend. You gotta watch out with these words because they become literalized, You can't just throw around the word ascend, because there might be an ascendant around who's, up to something that you have no fucking clue what it is. You have Murillo, and then Ralik Nam is like, there are people trying to kill Cole because he's like still a threat to, like, he is like in line to be on the city council or whatever the fuck. And so like, you have these assassins who are coming after Cole, who you didn't know when you first like met them that they're coming after Cole, or that he even had anything to do with the plot, but he does. Ralik Nam is just like, there's one section where you're like, I like it when authors do this, when you're like reading along and you're like, why does Ralik Nam give a shit this much about Cole? And Ralik Nam is like, his internal dialogue is like, why was he doing it? Because it's his last shred of humanity or something like that, where he's like, it's his last tie, like, oh, because what else is the fucking point if I don't try? We've got Gardens of the Moon here displayed. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Malazan books. Listen, I read these mostly on my Kindle and through audiobook. and now I'm reading them. I have to admit, I did do a little bit of audiobook, but it was okay because I made sure that if I missed something, I went back. Specifically, the Paran becoming a dog and like ripping into the Finnis, the Jaghut tyrant, ripping into his fucking face, and oh my god, I completely missed that last time. I went back and reread it. Anyway, I'm getting off track, way off track, and the verisimilitude of this video is being infected by chaos. That's the whole thing with Rallick Nom, Murillo, and Cole. It actually really hooked me in, that storyline. But yeah, Murillo is seducing Lady Simtall. I think for the purpose of at the fete at Lady Simtall's her party. Let's call it a party. Let's call it a ball at the thing. I think the reason that Murillo, like his whole thing, was just to keep her in a room while Rallick Nom fought Turban Orr. I think that's the guy's name. Fucking Turban Orr, the guy who was like, who challenged Rallick Nom challenged him to do either way. They get in a duel, you know, and like Turban Orr was like the guy who was going to, he was part of the plan with Lady Simtall to make sure that Cole didn't get his place back on the council. And Krupp, because he's the eel, he wants Cole to be on the council. Also, Krupp knows that Cole is a good guy, trying to help him out. He's his friend. You know, Krupp is like an elder. Krupp is Tom Bombadil from Lord of the Rings. It's fine. It's fine to say that. It's fine to say that. He has the same type of shit. He just doesn't like sing songs, but he does pontificate. Yeah, Rallick Nom's a badass. So anyway, and then Crocus is in here as the coin bearer. He finds the coin. He's got the coin in his pocket, and everybody's like, "We got to get the coin bearer." And Ajak Lorne is even like, "Oh, we need the coin so that we can give it to the Empress, and it's Opan's luck for the Empire." Crocus, I only care about Crocus because I know what happens to him later. I like the way it's set up here. I feel like Crocus through the series is a slow burn, and you get a very big payoff with him far later in the series. But also, like, I like Crocus in book 2 and in other books. I really like his story. So in that respect, as someone coming at this from a reread perspective, Crocus's story starts here, and the way it starts, I think, is good because there's not like an insta-love with Chalice. There is kind of a like young boy, horny young boy going to pretty young girl, stealing from her. And you know, her name is Chalice. Like, she'd be broken. She's fragile, you know, fragile little woman. And all of that, and him like kind of coming to terms with the fact that that's not how life is. It's kind of like a coming of age for the reader into this world of like, that's not how life is. Of course, there's all kinds of fantasy shit happening that's not real either, but like the character stuff is very realistic. It feels real. And yeah, moving on. So now, let's see, the other things that are happening, Paran is doing like, Paran's going through like crazy acid trip shit the whole book. He's fucking cutting through chaos magic with Chance, his blade that he got from Opan? Or Opan blessed the blade? I don't remember that part. But he has a sword. It's called Chance, and it's Opan's blade. Somebody, I think it's Cotillion, is like, use it until your luck runs out, and then give it to your worst enemy or fucking die, you know. Cotillion and Shadow Throne just showing up places to say cryptic shit. Whole book. The main thing I remember about Shadow Throne and the Cotillion is at some point Animander Rake is like, you guys need to fuck off, and then they fuck off. And sorry, Absalar is then in the Gadrobi Hills. Crocus finds her with his Darujistan clan, And she's like, I don't remember who I am, but I'm gonna choose a new name because where am I? You know, before Paran, I need to talk about Tattersall. And this is where shit gets murky. Tattersall is confronted by Belladin in the Gadrobi Hills. And remember, Belladin's the guy, he's a Toblakai. And his main girl was Nightchill. And they were both high mages with Tattersall, and Tattersall summoned a demon that killed Nightchill at the Siege of Pale. I think I fucking nailed it. I think that's what happened. Belladin comes to arrest Tattersall. He has Nightchill's body with him in a bag. Tattersall had placed a preservation spell on Nightchill. Little known fact. I mean, it's known. Little known fact to me. And Tattersall doesn't think she has much of a choice but to open her warren fully, because we're only doing it kind of, usually. But she ripped me open. Thur warren. And when she opens her warren fully, it incinerates both her, Belladin, and Nightchill. And then they soul shift. Those two, Belladin and Tattersall, soul shift into Nightchill. And then there's some shit about Kroll and Krupp's dreams. Like, Kroll is inside Krupp's dreams. This is like how he exists. I don't fucking get it, but it's like Krupp and Kroll. Maybe Krupp is a manifestation of Kroll because he's in his dreams. I don't know. I don't fucking know. Speculation. That's where the mystery is. It's good. Anyway, so there's some stuff about Kroll inside of Krupp's dreams and a bone caster called Paran transferring all three souls into the body of an unborn Rivi child born by the Maib. The soul shifting part we know because of one Hairlock and Quickben. We kind of understand that shit. But this stuff is like wacky. Like we're inside of maybe a warren inside of Krupp's mind where Kroll is, and Kroll lives in like chaos. But then they like travel in time, but it's not time travel. It's like, I think it might be because of the Talon Warren. Like Tool said some shit earlier in the book when he's talking to Adjunct Lorne about time. She's like, what? So like, do you travel in time with the Talon Warren? And he's like, no, Adjunct. But time is different, or whatever the fuck. So I'm wondering if that's what is something that's going on here because the Bonecaster, Talanamas, Pranchol is involved. So maybe Krupp and Kroll are like messing with the Talon Warren somehow. Silver Fox is born, which Paran later runs into her, and she's like 6, and it's weird that she's so old, and he's like, that's weird that you're 6 now. But before Paran runs into Silver Fox, who has 3 souls inside of her, Paran comes across Tattersall's dead body, and then he swears revenge on the Adjunct. And then Paran sees the Rivi people where he meets Silver Fox. Then Paran comes across Tok the Younger, who's a claw, but not really a claw, but he's kind of a claw. But anyway, he's a Malazan. Then he's like, fuck the claw, you know. He's like a good archer. He has 1 eye. He lost his eye at the Siege of Pale. I think because of moonspawn lasers. I think. Anyway, they're hanging out, and then they become friends. And at a certain point, Tok feels something. I think he feels it in his missing eye. He feels sorcery there. And he's like, yo, dude, there's some shit coming. Quickben, it shifts to a scene with Quickben where he's cutting Hairlock's strings. And then Quickben, being a past acolyte of Shadow, was able to direct the hounds to Hairlock's location. Hairlock shows up and throws Tok the Younger into a Chaos Warden. Just whoop, out of the book. Won't see you again, Tok, for a minute, or if ever. No spoilers. Well, I don't know what happened to Tuck, but he's not in this book anymore. Presumed dead. And Hairlock's just out here, he's like killing ravens and stuff. Paran is confronted with by Hairlock, and you know, Paran used chance to like deflect chaos magic from Hairlock when he's like trying to kill Tattersall or something. And while Paran is just like, Paran just kind of like looks at Hairlock, who's like, I think he's like, I'll fucking kill you or something. And Paran just kind of like jabs his sword into the ground, I think, and like sits there and is like, whatever, fucking kill me. I'm so sick of this, so sick of these games. Animander Rake just appears here. He's like, there are hounds coming, and Hairlock's strings are cut. I think when Hairlock's strings get cut, he like becomes incapacitated, maybe. But the Hounds of Shadow come and they rip Hairlock apart. Animander Rake then kills the Hounds with Dragnipur, the sword that has a fucking slave wagon inside of it. And so the Hounds then get set into the sword to pull the wagon inside the sword with chains that are around their neck, and they're like fucking thrashing. They don't understand what's going on. Animander Rake leaves, and then Paran touches the blood of the Hound, and then he gets sent into the sword, which kind of like, I just had some like light speculation on this, that like maybe the sword is connected to blood somehow, and this is how Paran gets connected to the Hounds, is because there's some kind of like, the sword cuts you and it does draw blood, but it takes your soul and sucks your soul into the sword, but then the blood is like infected with like the magic of the sword, and so when Paran touches it, he becomes connected to the blood slash soul of the Hound. Okay, no. Anyway, it's pretty cool though. I was digging it. So Paran is inside the sword, and he's like, he's not chained like the other people, and he's kind of talking to some people. I think he talks to, it's probably Draconis, who's like, whatever, dude. And Paran looks underneath the wagon, sees the chains all go into like a black hole that's like really cold though too. And it said somewhere that that black hole, the chains lead into Kuralt Galain. Paran like sees the Hounds thrashing, and he like feels awful for them, and so then he calls up, like everybody in this book is like protecting the Hounds of Shadow. Like Tattersall at one point earlier was like trying to save them from Hairlock's Chaos Warren. He's like, you have to, he's talking to Paran. I think that's why Paran used chance against Hairlock earlier, is because Tattersall felt awful for the Hounds of Shadow because their souls were going to be so affected by the Warren of Chaos. So anyway, the Hounds motivate Paran to call Opon into Dragnipur, and Opon's like freaking the fuck out because he's inside Dragnipur and it's an awful, a god shouldn't be there or whatever. But Paran frees the Hounds using Opon and sends them to Kuralt Galain, I think, where all the chains lead. That might be wrong, because then when he comes out of the sword, out of Dragnipur, the Hounds' bodies are gone. But I was thinking that their bodies could be just in Kuralt Galain, that they like followed their souls because they were unchained. Now I want to move to the Jaghut Tyrant and the Adjunct a little bit. Tool and the Adjunct end up freeing the Jaghut Tyrant, which is the guy who's supposed to weaken Animander Rake, get defeated by Animander Rake, and then the Empire can move in and take out Animander Rake. All of these chess moves here. The Teist Andy dragons come in to fight the Jaghut Tyrant when he's released, and it's like some cool shit. The Race is the Jaghut Tyrant's name. He's like, his skin is like falling off from his power. It's like fucking crazy. He's Amtos, Falak, Warren. I mean, Jaghut are just like fucking powerful. Like, I didn't realize that my first read through. I didn't understand why these certain Jaghuts were such a big deal. Specifically this one, because I just remembered vaguely that he like got released and then was like put down real quick. But no, like there's actually quite a bit that happens with him. He comes out of the barrow and he's like fighting these dragons, and he's so powerful that he can take down these dragons with Amtos Flak. So he's fighting against the dragons, and Kroll brings Race into one of Krupp's dreams and offers him death from Tool, Onos Tulan, the Talane Mask for Sword of the First Empire, or walk into chaos with Kroll. Like he can just go into chaos with this Elder God, or he can die at Tool's sword. Race escapes by possessing Mammoth, who is Crocus's uncle. And Mammoth is at Lady Simtal's fete, or goes there. I don't remember, but he like Race possesses Mammoth and kills many people at the party. Then Race leaves Mammoth's body, becoming apparition, becoming the Finnest. And I forgot this part. So like the Jaghut Tyrant's main power was in this acorn that Onos Tulan told Adjunct Lorne she needed to take in order to draw him out. So once the Jaghut Tyrant got his little acorn of power, his Finnest, then the Jaghut Tyrant would be unstoppable. But like he's already pretty powerful without it. But then he becomes the Finnest. This is where I got a little confused. He becomes the Finnest, and people keep referring to him as an apparition after he leaves Mammoth's body. So the Finnest, Race, is trying to make it to the Azath to get his full power. Tool is fighting Race. This is in Jerujistan. And Race is more apparition now, and Tool tells Paran to defend the Azath. Paran flings chance at the power of Race, almost getting murked by the ice magic of Amtos Flak. Then the blood of hounds comes out in his veins. And this is the cool shit where Paran is just like, fuck it. He he doesn't have his sword. And like he just feels like a sound energy coming through him, and he just fucking tears Race apart. But tricked ya. Race reappears inside Mammoth's body, and then Quickbin unleashes 7 warrens on his ass, but it's still not enough. Quickbin has 7 warrens, and people are like, that's a big deal. He has 7, oh my god. And then Hedge, I love the fucking bridge burners, man. I love the, I forget what they're called. Fiddler and Hedge, the guys who throw Moranth musicians. So anyway, Hedge throws a Moranth music at the thing, Race, and Mammoth. Race inside Mammoth's body, and everybody thinks it's dead, but wrong. Whoops, it's not. So then Mammoth is down there in this crater created by the munitions, and then the Azath house reaches up through the ground with roots and pulls Race under it, imprisoning him forevermore in the Azath. Mammoth is dead. Crocus's uncle is dead. Didn't care. I was fine with it. I was fine with that sacrifice. And then, so Lorne is like, I don't exactly remember why, but she's like, she had done the Jaghut Tyrant thing, and then she planted the acorn. She planted it in Lady Simtal's garden. And that's why the Azath house started growing and was able to then kill the Jaghut Tyrant, but and lure the Jaghut Tyrant into the city. And you know, Animander Rake is like not giving a fuck about the Jaghut Tyrant. He's just letting people deal with it, even though he was the bait for Animander Rake to come and get weakened by. But then it's like, oh no, but this is what Animander Rake was waiting for, because Lorne releases a Glane demon, and the Glane demon can veer into a dragon, and Animander Rake and the demon duke it out as dragons, and then eventually Animander Rake just pones him with Dragnipper and traps him inside the sword. Lorne is meanwhile hunting Crocus because he has the coin of Opon, which could be used by the Empress. But Corporal Blue of the Crimson Guard, yeah, dude, random fucking guy. I had to find his name on the internet. I don't know if he's named in Gardens of the Moon. I didn't see it. He comes in and she gets pwned and she's like, I've never seen somebody so good with a sword. But she escapes him, runs away, but she's very wounded. But peeps be looking out for Crocus, Mies, and Arilta of Cruel's Bar, namely, and they fucking kill the adjunct. And then Captain Paran, Ganois Paran finds her, takes her Tattersall sword, because why are you gonna let that go to waste? And later buries her north of Lake Azure. Absalar and Crocus sail out into the sunset to Seven Cities. Well, they're, you know, trying to get to Itko Khan, I think, for Absalar's sake. We're rolling into the last part of the video, and the last thing I wanted to talk about was when Lorne is having kind of a mid-decision crisis in the Gadrobi Hills with Tool, and Tool's like, why are you so sad, Adjunct? And she's like, I'm not sad, but she is, because she's conflicted. So the Adjunct is like, you know, this the will of the Empire as a person. So she's going about this. The will of the Empire is to unleash an atomic bomb on the world so that the Empire can expand and their conquest. And so that is what Adjunct Lorne represents. But then we get Adjunct Lorne, the human. And she says in this section, she says, what is Empire? I think a couple times. And this is a theme throughout the series. This is said a lot. From what I remember, there's a lot of people who ask the question, what is Empire? I feel like it's making a statement about the human condition. And that is, I feel like that's what this means. Every time somebody says in the series, what is Empire? It's saying, what is being human? Usually they're dealing with their own humanity, a choice they have to make that they're conflicted about, like Lorne when she's considering Tool, and how for millennia humans have fought the same war. She's literally looking at the relic of an age past but it's a person who was a person who has withered and like is still holding a sword from the very first Empire, that's like showing this has never ended. This drive, this need of humanity to take things over, for war, to do it even though you know it's wrong. Because Lorne is thinking this is wrong. What the fuck am I doing? But she's still gonna do it. And so I kind of think like when she says that, what is Empire? Empire is unavoidable. So she's having that moment and she ends up choosing wrongly, as most of us do. What is Empire? It's making the wrong choice, even though you know it's wrong, even though Lorne has been victim to this very same thing from Tattersall. And she almost fights Tattersall over that because she becomes the individual again when she sees Tattersall at the dinner. She sees Tattersall and she thinks about her past trauma, what happened to her, what was taken from her, and the person who did it. And she reverts back into the individual level of like, this is Empire, this is what Empire did to me, but here I am being Empire. It's unavoidable that I am going to make a decision like this that is wrong. Because everything that's happened between you and the right choice has led you to this moment where your hand is hovering above the button to unleash the bomb, unleash the Jaghut tyrant, whatever the fuck it is. Now, I'm a recovering drug addict of 7 years clean. Thank you. But you might want to hold that a minute. Because humanity. When you're a junkie and your hand is hovering above the purse of your loved one, you don't want to steal their money. You know it's wrong, but every hit you've taken up to that point, your body withdrawing and screaming for relief makes your choice for you. Do you have free will? Of course you do. Lorne had free will before she went into the Jaghut barrow. We all do this. You don't have to be a junkie to do it. Every job I've worked at is harmful to the environment, or mistreats animals, or pays wages that are hard to live on. I supported every one of them every time I clocked in. The bridge burners are supporting massacre, empire, humanity. But they need money or purpose or whatever else. They're clocking in, just like the Teist Andy are clocking in, just like Animander Rake is like, I need to give them a place to clock into because they feel like their lives are meaningless. So it's almost like it's another commentary on that empire being unavoidable, going to war to gain purpose. War can mean many things. It doesn't just mean literally killing other people. It means being aggressive in some way. Ambition is a type of aggressive, almost kind of warfare, because if you're ambitious, you're trying to go out there, you're trying to insert your worldview into society to get ahead or to get that job you want. When you get the job you want, somebody else does not have that job. That is, to you, great. That is harmful to this other person. These are not things that are necessarily wrong, but they are just things that happen. They are unavoidable in the human condition. And so, like, I think that Erickson is saying here, empire is unavoidable. There are also individuals behind this. Are you going to look at them and feel compassion towards them? Can you look at the junkie and say, he has done all these things. This is his trauma. This is why his hand is hovering over his mother's purse. This is why he stuck his hand inside. We don't condone it. We're not like, yay, I'm glad that you got that and you got another bag, man. No. But we are like, I understand. At least that's what this book is showing me. The stuff with Adjunct Lorne really hit me this time. That felt like the heartbeat of the book that really connected the whole theme of the series, but of the book. It really glued it all together of like, she says, what is empire? What is humanity? What is holding your finger over the button, knowing you're going to push it, knowing it's wrong and still doing it, even though you know how many lives it's going to affect? When you're the ambitious businessman who's going into applying for a job, trying to get ahead, trying to hit better numbers or whatever it is, why are you doing that? To push somebody else out. Is it wrong? It doesn't seem wrong because that's the way our society is set up for us to want to get ahead and everybody get ahead. That doesn't mean that somebody else is getting fucked over. It's fine if they get fucked over. Just saying that, like, that's on a small scale. Small scale warfare is the climb, the capitalistic climb. So we can understand that Lorne shouldn't push the button, unleash the warhead, and we can judge her. But I'll remember it next time I punch in at work, and maybe I'll have a little bit of compassion for the people that are doing that. I can even have compassion for the people who I work for, who are, like I said, if they're in a big factory type situation, it's not great for the environment. Factory farming is not good for the environment. If I'm working for a food distribution center, it is contributing to factory farming because we're buying from them and then we're shipping elsewhere, right? So that is harmful to the environment. But on the individual level, how many choices led up to that? And we got to see Adjunct Lorne go through this process of seeing who hurt her, why she's doing this, why she feels this duty, which, when you look at it, she's doing the right thing in a sense, which is doing her fucking job and doing it well. And sticking to her duty and having honor. These are good qualities that lead her to make the decision that we view as wrong. If I go join the military, I get free schooling. The MS are mass together. Empire. Jaghuts are loners. They're peaceful. Except every once in a while, there's a Jaghut who goes crazy, like the Jaghut tyrant, but let's forget about them for a minute so I can make my point. So the Jaghut are like, okay, we're gonna be loners because Empire doesn't work. Fuck Empire. And so we're showing the other side of it with the Jaghuts. And when they do that, when they are like, okay, this is the answer is for us to spread apart. Because when we're together, when we have empire, it is wrong. And we just war and hurt each other. And all this shit happens. And I think there was like, a whole fucking ice thing that happened because of their ice magic. But that's besides the point. They were just like, this is a catastrophe. This is fucking us up. We gotta be loners. And I think somebody, might have been a Carium, came and told them to do that. But anyway, and even race is an example that this isn't the answer. There's always a tyrant asshole. The race doesn't represent the whole. Subverting the idea that empire is the only answer, or peace and hermits are the only answer. I think that that's what Erikson is trying to get across here with the mass, and the Jaghuts, who are loners, is that neither one is the answer. There is no answer to this thing called empire. There is only looking at it and being completely aware of it. The compassion theme in the series is to look at the worst thing, the scariest and the most disgusting thing in the face, looking at it and accepting that it exists, and then having compassion for that thing. So with this double thing with the Jaghut and the Amass, we have one looking at the other. The Amass, of course, they represent the empire. They come and try to take over the Jaghut because that's what empire does. And the Jaghut are like, well, we're just trying to be peaceful. But that doesn't work either because you have the Amass coming at them. So it's like you have both sides of it. And then eventually when there's a Jaghut tyrant, the Jaghut have to come together to imprison him. So they didn't stick with their thing of being loners. They had to resort to being empire for a minute so that they could get what they wanted, achieve what they wanted, which was to imprison this tyrant. It doesn't matter what the reason is. They became empire so they could do a thing, because empire is not always bad. It's not always good. I'm not condoning colonialism or that the people of Guinea-Bacchus should submit to empire. All I'm saying is that this is what, with all of these different points of view in this book, I think that's what Erikson is trying to get across, at least to this reader, that let's look at these things. Let's look at what these people went through before we judge them. Like I said, with my own experience of being a drug addict and speaking with other recovering drug addicts. When I was younger, the way I looked at a drug addict or a needle user was completely different than how I look at it now, because I've been through it. And so when I would look at them, I would think dirty, disgusting, hairy, smelly, diseased pieces of shit. Now, our society has gotten much better about this stigma with drug addicts, but that it still exists. And so what I'm saying is that I know the story of this drug addict. And so when I look at other drug addicts, I don't think of them as dirty, disgusting pieces of shit. I think of them as, if they're using drug addicts, I think of them as sick. This is a disease that they're going through. And this is part of their process. This is part of the little stepping stones that's going to get them somewhere. It might be a bad place, it might be a good place. It might get them off of the drugs because they get to such a low level. But there are so many layers to this thing called empire, or this thing called drug addiction, or this thing called, capitalism and getting ahead, ambition, that it's impossible to just write it off as empire bad, lonerism good, or the other way around. It's impossible to do that. So we flip every single thing on its head. And I don't think that the subverting of genre expectation is just a trope that Erikson is relying on. I think it is literally a part of his approach here, where he's not just subverting genre expectations to be funny and have fun. I think he was doing that. I mean, he said that in YouTube videos I've watched on AP's channel. But I think that he is actually, by subverting genre expectations, he is actually commenting on the fact that you haven't looked at it from this fucking side yet. You have no idea. You can't know. You cannot label a person as bad. You can't. Because they did this one thing. People do it, they do it too frequently and too easily. I mean, that's how the human mind works. That's another thing to be compassionate towards, is the idea of things being concrete. Like when we see people out there who are saying, oh, drug addicts are pieces of shit, and that's all there is to it. We can have compassion for them because we know that's how the human mind works. It works better when things are A and B and C. But the human mind also has the ability to break through that. And that's what I think this book is doing. It literally makes your brain do that because you sympathize with these characters. And it's not the only book that's ever done that, but it does it so well and ties the theme into every character and every plot thread, and even the fuckery of subverting the genre expectations is part of that, looking at it on the other side, so that we can look at things on the other side and not so easily label things as bad or good. That's my rant, that's my video. I finished Gardens of the Moon last week. I fucking loved it. It has everything in fantasy, and I think that is too much for some people, and I understand that. Sometimes it is too much for me on the first read through, but rereading it, it is exquisite. It's verisimilitudinous. I started Memories of Ice. I'm gonna do 2 videos for each book, like I said. So on Memories of Ice, I will do one for the first half of the book and another one for the second half. And that's how I'll do it. I'll probably, I'm gonna try to do it at least every 1 to 2 months, a video. Just be real chill about it because I'm trying to enjoy myself while I do it. Love you guys, thanks for listening.